Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Chris Hoff, and welcome to my kitchen table. And today we're talking about using poetry in therapy. And I'm going to share with you probably the poem I use the most in therapeutic context. But before we get there, two quick announcements. First, I'm back on Patreon. I'm starting up with what I'm calling Coffee and Consults. It starts on Wednesday, June 1st at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It'll be an opportunity for those of you that might be feeling a little isolated in the work to come join in a gathering with other folks where I'll help you with your cases, or we'll talk about them. I'm going to show you video of my own work, real video of my own work. We'll do some didactic stuff. And if you're interested in narrative therapy, collaborative therapy, that kind of thing, yeah, it certainly might be interesting to you. So, Coffee and Consults, look up The Radical Therapist on Patreon, come join us. And I'm also, if you want to just spend like $5 a month, I'm going to be doing like more how-to videos, interviewing peers, that kind of thing on that platform. So you might not want to miss that. Come join me on Patreon. And then finally, the Radical Therapist Gathering, September 10th, Saturday, September 10th. Storytelling at the End of the World. We're going to have a day-long 5 CEUs if you need them. Day-long event where Lorraine Hedke is going to be there, Gary Ware is going to be there, myself and Jay D'Arrigo are going to be presenting, and there'll be other surprises. So you don't want to miss that. The Radical Therapist Gathering, Storytelling at the End of the World, September 10th in Santa Ana, California, and hope to see you there. Okay, let's talk about poetry and therapy. So utilizing poetry in therapy invites the use of language, symbol, and story into therapeutic conversations and can encourage education, movement, and community building practices. The poetry you might use in therapy could include poems, of course, stories, song lyrics, imagery, metaphor, all of this in an effort to facilitate personal agency, healing, greater awareness, what have you. So I do, on occasion, enter poems, stories, song lyrics into the work I do. I was recently in Sedona. I like Sedona a lot. I try to go there fairly regularly. I just like the vibe, but it's also very beautiful. But Sedona's, the land of crystals and psychics and gurus of all sorts, right? And lots of promise, lots of love and light, that kind of thing. But while I was in Sedona, I also found out about another mass shooting at a school in Texas. And it had me thinking about the light and the dark, which had me thinking about this poem I use a lot in the work that I do, and I'm going to share it with you now. So this is a favorite. It's by Robert Bly, and I'll share with you in a little bit why I use it, but it's titled Warning to the Reader, and it goes, "Sometimes farm granaries become especially beautiful when all the oats or wheat are gone, and the wind has swept the rough floor clean. Standing inside, we see around us, coming in through the cracks between shrunken wallboards, bands or strips of sunlight. So in a poem about imprisonment, one sees a little light. But how many birds have died trapped in these granaries? The bird, seeing the bands of light, flutters up the walls and falls back again and again. The way out is where the rats enter and leave. But the rat's hole is low to the floor. Writers, be careful then by showing the sunlight on the walls, not to promise the anxious and panicky blackbirds a way out. I say to the reader, beware. Readers who love poems of light may sit hunched in the corner with nothing in their gizzards for 4 days, light failing, the eyes glazed. They may end as a mound of feathers and a skull on an open boardwood floor. We live in a world increasingly in search of a quick fix. I have been a therapist long enough now to have experienced several hot new things that have promised greatly exaggerated and often unsubstantiated claims. Social media influencers everywhere these days preach a version of self-love that encourages followers to walk away from anything that doesn't serve them. Or as writer Sarah Schulman says, we live in a time where the ideology of do what feels right is considered the individual's best guide to ethical action. And pretending what is comfortable or easiest is what is right is tragic self-deception. We will always live in a world where there will be folks lining up to promise us escape in all sorts of ways. I use the Bly poem in my practice as encouragement for people who want to face the dark things in their lives, the ghosts and the shadows. I also like to use this poem with folks I supervise as a good reminder for those of us that want to be therapists. Replace writers with therapists and you get therapists. Be careful then by showing the sunlight on the walls, not to promise the anxious and panicky blackbirds a way out. Again, this is a reminder not to advice give, paint rosy pictures, hurry people through their particular experiences, go in convincing mode or what have you, or just plain blow sunshine up people's asses. Can you sit with people who see your help wherever they may, who seek your help with wherever they may be at that moment? This poem also is encouragement for those sitting across from us who might be looking for a way out. I replace readers with therapy clients, and you get, I say to the therapy client, beware. Clients who love poems of light may sit hunched in the corner with nothing in their gizzard for 4 days, light flailing, eyes glazed. They may end as a mound of feathers and a skull on an open boardwood floor. This is an encouragement to look at all of life. Sometimes we get caught in this idea that it's happiness. We get caught in the happiness trap, right? But this expands it to open all of it. Don't get caught looking at just the light. Look at all of life, right? And that's just the way life is. Opinion alert. So anyway, so that's an example of a poem I might use as a way of like situating us, not to oversell or rainbows and unicorns and all that kind of stuff. So that also the life includes hard things, often things that are dark, like I said, the ghosts and shadows of our lives. So I just like it for that reason. It is encouraging in a lot of different ways if you really kind of look at it. So that's an example of a poem I use. I would love to know what poems, song lyrics, songs, whatever you might use. Please put them in the comments. Share with me what you use, what your go-to poem is, and I would appreciate that. And as always, thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Chris Hoff. This has been The Radical Therapist. Peace.